Today we are starting to write our diary entry based on Stanley's first days at Camp Green Lake. We're only writing day 1 today. You'll write day 2 tomorrow. As I explained yesterday, we should be basing our diary entries on Stanley's first days at Camp Green Lake, but you should feel free to add some of your own ideas as well. So in your writing, you need to write in the past tense. It's Stanley saying what happened in his day, so it all needs to be past tense. You need to write from Stanley's perspective in first person. So I, me, and my, and you need to include the skills that we've been working on. So that's informal language and tone. You can do that by using contractions, colloquialisms, and idioms. You should be using modal verbs, passive voice, indirect speech, conjunctions, and adverbials of time throughout your writing. And remember to use all of those fantastic ideas that you wrote in your plan yesterday. So here's an example of how your diary entry might start. This is just the beginning of the day. You would obviously need to keep on going after this. So I do have a date at the top here. The date that you pick doesn't matter. If you're struggling to pick a date, just don't include one. It's not hugely important. And then I started with Dear Diary here. I still can't wrap my head around what happened today. It all started when I was put in handcuffs and taken onto a rusty bus this morning. There were only 2 other people with me, a stern-looking guard and the driver, who sat in silence the whole time. It would have been nice for one of them to try and strike up a conversation, but instead they left me to stare out of the window. The uncomfortable journey lasted over 8 hours. There was no life anywhere as far as I could see, just a sea of red dust. We drove past a half-broken sign for Camp Green Lake. Some of the E's had broken off. After what seemed like an eternity, I stepped off the bus into what seemed like a furnace. I was shown around the camp by an intimidating man called Mr. Sir, which can't possibly be his real name. He explained that the reason why there wasn't a fence around the camp was that we would die quickly from dehydration if we were to try and run. So in this, I've included some contractions. Can't and would have are actually also modal verbs. I've got a hyphen here with stern looking. I've got an adverbial of time here after what seemed like an eternity. If I was to keep writing, I would maybe want to include a few more of those throughout my writing. I've got a colon here, and I've got some passive voice, so I was shown by Mr. Sir. That's our passive voice sentence. I've also included some dashes because this is an informal text, and I've got some indirect speech here. He explained that the reason why there wasn't a fence. So what I would need to do now is I would need to continue writing my diary entry, making sure that any of our features that I haven't included yet, I try to include in my next few paragraphs.